The last part of my presentation that I have is for coping with ORI behaviors. Um, the ones that I listed were passive, avoidant, aggressive, help seeking, and integrative. And I'm just going to go through and explain a little bit about what those are. Um, Passive is waiting for the pursuer to kind of retire and lose interest in the target. Maybe even, like that can be a little bit avoidant as well. Just kind of, staying low and just really like hoping that it's going to pass over time, that they're just going to stop obsessing in a way. Avoidant is basically just exactly how it sounds, just avoiding the obsessor completely. Not answering phone calls like the book says, and staying away from the pursuer. Not putting your place in anywhere that they can be. Maybe, I mean, that could even probably be blocking them from like social networks or anything like that, so that like you're doing a little bit more privacy than you would, not having to answer questions or talk to them or see them or anything like that. Integrative is actually communicating um, disinterest directly, negotiating relationship rules and boundaries. So maybe this could be like different for people. Like it's completely opposite of not wanting to hurt their feelings in a way. Like it's kind of like you don't really care about their feelings. You're just going to be straight up with them and be like, you need to stop. Like it's bothering me, and this is just something you just need to stop doing because it's not right, and it's kind of annoying. Kind of like directly like letting them know like this is not something that they should be partaking in. They should not be pursuing you. Um, Help seeking is asking others for assistance in preventing ORI behaviors. So, the book talks a lot about the scholarly journal that I read today as well, and it says that it concluded that the success of each strategy varies dramatically, but found that the confrontation and the clear outlining of relationship rules and boundaries had the greatest likelihood of success. So, actually, directly saying like integrative is actually the best approach is what they found, which makes sense because when you're directly saying something, you're not like moving behind lines or anything like that. You're just like, or being nice, like you're just directly saying like what you need to say. With help seeking, a lot of times that can be integrative as well, because you can get other people to tell them what's wrong too. Because sometimes, like if a person's obsessing with you and you try to tell them that it's wrong, they might not listen to you. In a way, they might like not being able to hear it. They might be just like, oh, she's like, or he's talking to me, but if multiple people, like your friends and stuff, also let them know that their behaviors are wrong, it can also dramatically like probably improve the fact that like their obsession is, get it in their head that's not something they need to do. um, to move on with this, being aggressive or passive or avoidant, help seeking or integrative, any of those things, like you really have to successfully do those in a certain way. And it also, like as I've been talking about, just like depends on the person, and it depends on how brutal the pursuit is. One problem that I thought about when I was reading the chapter and reading over the journal, was that if you were aggressive or, like towards them or integrative towards them, um, then it could cause a problem if that person is also aggressive. You wouldn't want to be mean or rude or threatening to the obsessor, the person who is, doing the ORI behaviors, if they are obsessive to the point where they're harassing you and really like being aggressive back towards you, because that can be really dangerous. One of the things that it talked about in the scholarly journal, that it mentions in the book, is that a lot of, like if they obsess with you so much and like you go after them and you threaten them back and stuff like that, like things can happen to where like they might reasonably want to harm you or something like that, if their obsession gets to a point where it can be dangerous. So there's different ways to communicate that, with our whole our whole class being interpersonal communication. I think communication and communicating it the right way um, to get a obsessor to stop pursuing you is important. And what I've caught from just coping is just like, help seeking is a really good way for that, because you have people that are holding you accountable and being community for you, where like sometimes venting like helps, and maybe even if somebody else like says something to them calmly, then it's better, because if you try to approach them instead of somebody else approaching them, your personal emotions about the situation and your personal fear, especially if you're dealing with fear or psychological problems, like could get in the way of your communication towards them. So help seeking is probably the way that I would go. I don't think aggressive is ever something that you need to do unless it's just to a point where like you can safely be aggressive with the person. Being passive a lot of times can be problematic as well, because if they obsess over you so much, then it probably doesn't matter what you do, like they'll continue the pursuit. Avoiding is always a good thing too, because you never want to give them a sense of hope and comfort that they can keep pursuing you, and that they might one day their pursuit might be complete. You never want to, give them a reason to continue to pursue you. So avoidant is like, really good. Integrative, I think that's important, and it goes with avoidant as well, because when you're directly communicating that you're not interested in what they're interested in, it's that's probably a really good way to communicate. But like I said, it can't be probably shouldn't be in an aggressive manner. So yeah. That's all I have for my infographic. There is a little bit more material in the book. It goes in a little more depth than what I had time to explain. But what I put on my infographic I feel like clearly covers the basis of what obsessive relational intrusion is. So I look forward to your comments and your questions, and I hope you enjoyed my presentation. Look forward to your guys too. Go Tigers!